All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Anila, and I am honored to be your host today for this Hanukkah candle lighting event. I'm proud and honored to be joined by so many multicultural friends and my board members, whom I'm going to introduce next. Um, Priyal Khan can't be here, but she sends her greetings. Aisha Bajwa can't be here. They send their greetings. Bushra Mateen is here, and I'm going to ask her to quickly unmute and say a few words.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Hanukkah, Samiyach. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, thank you.
Happy Hanukkah. It is such an honor for me to be part of this beautiful ceremony tonight. I just recently find out the meaning of Hanukkah, that the story behind it, and how beautiful it is, and especially like now I can relate it to nowadays, because Hanukkah is like that faith and hope, and how the light guided the Israelites at that time. So I was really inspired by that story. So I'm very, very happy and honored to be here, and look forward to the rest of the show. And my Bushra Mitzi, not show, I'm sorry, the program.
נר לי, נר לי, נר לי דקיק, בחנוכה נרי ידליק, בחנוכה נרי יאיר, בחנוכה שירי ישיר.
And I am Bushra Mateen, and I am a board member and treasurer of AMMWEC. Back to you, Anila.
Thank you, Bushra. And so we also have Dr. Rubila Shfaq. She's a hero on the front line, and God bless her. So I'm really happy to see her. Rubila, can you say a few words? Unmute and say a few words.
Thank you, Anila. Happy to see everybody here, safe and sound and looking healthy. Just want to wish all my Jewish community and friends and family members a happy Hanukkah. Please stay safe. It's a very muted Hanukkah, I'm sure, but again, wishing all of you a very, very happy Hanukkah in these times. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Rubila, and thanks for taking the time to be here. We also have Dr. Sabine, who's another board member and a frontline hero. She sends her regards. She's at her clinic right now. And then we also have Dr. Farhat. She's also sending her regards. I wish she could be here because her mother is Jewish, and she always likes to share such events. So her greetings to Jewish friends. And then we also have a very special board member, Dinah Frieden, who is going to introduce herself. So I'll ask her to unmute and share something.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Good evening. I am just thrilled to be able to speak to all of you tonight. As a Jewish woman and a board member of AMMWEC, American Muslim and Multi-Faith Women's Empowerment Council, I'm happy to share my culture with you during the holiday of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is known as the Festival of Light. It commemorates the miracle of a tiny amount of oil providing light for 8 days. AMMWEC shares light on inclusion. We embrace diversity and we build cultural bridges. We invite you to join us as we continue to be the light of respect, recognizing people of all cultures and advocating for individual freedoms. Happy Hanukkah, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you for that beautiful message, Dinah. Next, I'm going to invite our new partner, but we all know her really well, Anastasia Selviras. Anastasia, you're on.
All right, let me unmute. Hi, everyone. Shalom and Hanukkah Sameach. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it's always good to try. As Anila mentioned, my name is Anastasia Selberis, and I'm a Greek-American woman, a friend and member of AMMWEC. And I'm so delighted to get together. I see a lot of similar faces that we've had before, some new ones as well. And it's just so good to get together for another one of these interfaith events. A little bit about myself. Growing up I'm a Greek American woman. So growing up in the Greek Orthodox Church, it really taught me to have a love for all of God's people, not just of my own faith, and not only that, but to really appreciate and get to listen and learn and understand their faith and their traditions. And I'm really proud, something that our ecumenical patriarch, so our church leader who is in Constantinople, he's also an advocate for interfaith relations. So I'm really happy and blessed and honored to follow in his suit and to be a part of something like this. I'm also here on behalf of another name that some of you know, Dr. Gwen Feinstein Hecht, who of course is a member of the Jewish community, as well as the owner and president emeritus of California Southern University, a local university. But she also is the founder of a nonprofit called the House of Ruach, and which I serve as the vice chair. And so she's taught me that in Hebrew, Ruach, and Rabbi, you can correct me maybe if I'm wrong, but it's the breath. And so I'm really happy to be a part of that as well. And one of the pillars that we do as a philanthropic service organization is the advancement of interfaith community work. So I'm really happy to be here tonight. Happy Hanukkah to our friends, our family, our AMMWEC family. And I have my candle here ready for when Rabbi Marsha leads us in the prayer and the lighting of the candles.
Thank you so much, Anastasia.
Thank you, Anila. Good
Lovely
to see you
have
all.
you. Yes. And
Thank
next, somebody that we all know from, I think, the beginning time of AMMWEC is our sister Sandy. She is here, and I just want her to speak from the heart and tell us something. How does she celebrate her holiday?
Thank you. It's really an honor to be here. Shalom, Salom, a peace, Satnam. It's really an honor to be amongst my interfaith family here celebrating Hanukkah. This is so generous of AMMWEC, and really grateful for that. Being one of very few Jews growing up in a very Protestant community in Southern California, I always saw Hanukkah as a cultural bridge. So I'm so glad that you said that, Dinah. The cultural bridge was my way of fitting in and being able to brag about the gifts that I got around the same time as Hanukkah, as Christmas. Yet what it really meant to me was a way of fitting into the Jewish community. It was also a cultural bridge to the Jewish community that was also very few and far between. We celebrate Hanukkah in our household, and I have since my children have been little, with what we call latke madness. And latkes are a traditional meal that is served. It's very traditional to serve the foods that are fried in oil, because that's so much a part of the Hanukkah story. And so latkes are potato pancakes that are fried in oil, and there's a very traditional meal that you eat, and it's a very simple meal. But being, again, in a very Protestant community where my children are raised, I wanted to be that neighbor, or the kids could all grow up and say we had a Jewish neighbor. So I opened my home for 13 years, and we did latke madness. It was an open house, and we played Dreidel, which is this game here. This is a Dreidel. I have a collection of about 30 Dreidels, but I just moved, they're packed still. And it's a children's game, and there's a beautiful story behind that, with how the Dreidel was really very much a part of Jewish learning at a time where it wasn't permitted for Jews to read. And so that's how they would act as though they were playing a game, but each side of the Dreidel has a letter on it. And it's actually now a betting game. So it's gambling at its best in Hanukkah. What I've got to share with you very briefly here are my menorahs. I have 3 generations of menorahs that you're looking at. This larger menorah was the menorah I grew up with. Apparently we think it comes from Israel, but this was in my mother's home for about 50 years before, or I'm nearly 60, so I've been lighting this my whole life. This I recently inherited when my mother passed away. It was my grandfather's, and we know this came from Latvia. And this is a menorah that my interfaith women's group, Sarah, Spiritual and Religious Alliance for Hope, gifted me. And it is a menorah of women holding hearts. So you can see that the hope and the light and the beauty and the celebration of our Jewish freedom can be represented and celebrated in so many different ways. There's no wrong way to light a candle at Hanukkah. So thank you very much again for this opportunity to share my story.
Thank you so much for sharing it. And I love the beautiful menorah that you have. And now I'm going to ask Sonny Ji. He is from the Sikh community and he has a greeting. So Sonny Ji, you'll have to unmute.
Is that okay now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so like she said, I am from Sikh community. I have never attended before the Hanukkah celebration. I'm very glad to learn something new. And I wish everybody peace from the Sikh community and very happy New Year 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny Ji. And next I'm going to ask, I think that's, sorry. Okay, I think that might be our friend Judea from LA. Is that, I'm just gonna ask him to unmute. Parveen, since you're right there and you've managed to unmute, would you like to say a few words to our Jewish friends?
Why not? Why not? Thank you, Anila. Thank you. And right now, actually, today, I feel so proud to be part of AMMWEC. I never felt that proud before that, because now this is the first time I am part of this celebration. And I always liked all the celebrations, especially when they light the candles. And you are giving us a chance to know other people around us too, the nicest people, the most peaceful people, Jewish community. I wish them very, very happy Hanukkah and a very happy New Year. And I want peace in this world. And we want hope, which is coming to us now, especially in this time. COVID is going to go away and we're going to get there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I see it very well. And especially when we light the candles, we see more light. And we love you all and we wish you all the best. And I hope you celebrate the whole Hanukkah with the family, with good health and happiness. And peace to all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Anila.
And you know, you reminded me of today being a really milestone day. Not only is it that we are celebrating together, it is also the day that the vaccines are being given in the United States. So this really, it's brought hope. It's brought a lot of light. And I hope that by lighting the candles together, we are definitely going to bring more light in 2021. We all need it.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you, Praveen. Thanks for that lovely message. I'm going to ask our partners at Combat Anti-Semitism, Daniel West Cohen. He's joining us from Boston. Please introduce yourself, Daniel, and give us your message.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet all of you, and it's a pleasure to be here. For those of you who haven't celebrated Hanukkah before, this is certainly a Hanukkah unlike any other in 2020. There's a lot of things that are similar, and there's a lot of things that are different. But I think the message pretty much stays the same, which is to see light in the darkness. And I think particularly given this time right now with the coronavirus, and particularly in my work, which means addressing anti-Semitism wherever it appears, there's a certain meaning to that, seeing lightness in the darkness right now. A lot of times in my work, I grew up celebrating Hanukkah. So when you do something for 33 consecutive years, sometimes you take it for granted, and the message is you take it for granted, and your biggest concern is not letting the wrapping paper hit the candles and setting your house on fire. But this year, I really took a lot of time to reflect on and what it means. And obviously the Jews were, expelled from their temple by Antiochus IV in 167 BCE, and then came back, and they only had, thought they had oil to last for a day, and it lasted for for 8 days, and that sense of miracle is something that I think that we really are looking for at this time in 2020. Only 16 days left, but who's counting? And in my work where we tend to see a lot of negative things, we see a lot of darkness, and there were definitely times during this year where all I saw was darkness. I said, where is the light here? And then being on this call with all of you tonight, I see that in so many ways. This is where the light is. The light is really an interfaith collaboration, intercultural collaboration, intersectionality, and really people from different cultures standing up for one another. And I think really for me, what the highlight has been in this time of tremendous darkness, the light in 2020 has really been groups standing up for one another. I've been so heartened, to see Muslims standing up for Jews in the face of anti-Semitism, and Jews standing up for Muslims in the face of Islamophobia, of Jews standing up for, the Black community in the face of racial injustice, and Blacks standing up for Jews, in the face of anti-Semitism. So this Hanukkah, I would really like to quote this guy named Robert Marley when he says, "From out the darkness comes the light. Could you be loved and be loved?" Because that's really the message of this holiday is finding the light in the darkness, and sitting here with all these different people from different cultures and backgrounds. I'm really seeing a lot more light than I've seen in a long time. So thank you for all your work, and thank you for reaching out to one another, and thank you for reaching out to me to be here.
Well, thank you for being here, Daniel. I know it's late in the East Coast, but we must go on. So we have many more people, so we're going to ask you to stay for the candle lighting. I want to play a message from Judia and Akbar. Now, some of you may know about their work, but Dr. Akbar S. Ahmed, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a renowned author. He's a diplomat, but he is my relative, and a lot of times I look up to him for the kind of interfaith work that he has done. It's been incredible. I think if I were to say which is the one Muslim that stands out in America, it's Dr. Akbar S. Ahmed and his work. He's been the Pakistan ambassador to the US, but I think what defines him is his interfaith work as the chair of the Ibn Khaldun Islamic Studies. I hope to be working with him under his mentorship, and you may have known about his partnership and his friendship with Daniel Pearl's father, and together they have formed a beautiful friendship, which I want to always celebrate. And I'm going to play a little message that they both want me to play.
Lauren, I welcome you to the White House. Mr. Attorney General, thank you for being here. Secretary Chertoff and family. Hanukkah is a time of joy and festivity in the Jewish religion. We're honored to gather with members of the Jewish community to celebrate this holiday. The menorah we light tonight has special meaning. It once belonged to Chaim Pearl, who was the great-grandfather of Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl. While reporting in Pakistan in 2002, Daniel was kidnapped and murdered by terrorists. His only crime was being a Jewish American, something Daniel Pearl would never deny. In his final moments, Daniel told his captors about a street in Israel named for his great-grandfather. He looked into their camera and he said, "My father is Jewish, my mother is Jewish, and I'm Jewish." These words have become a source of inspiration for Americans of all faiths. They show the courage of a man who refused to bow before terror, and the strength of a spirit that could not be broken. Daniel's memory remains close to our hearts. We're honored that Daniel's parents, Ruth and Judea, have joined us today. We thank them for their work on behalf of the Daniel Pearl Foundation. The foundation helps bring people from different cultures together through journalism and music. It's a fitting tribute to Daniel's lifelong pursuit of truth and tolerance. By honoring Daniel, we are given the opportunity to bring forth hope from the darkness of tragedy, and that is a miracle worth celebrating during the Festival of Lights. Lauren, I wish people of Jewish faith around the world a happy Hanukkah. May God bless you all. Tonight we will hear a wonderful performance by the Zamir Chorale. But first, I ask Ruth and Judea to light the Pearl family menorah and lead the blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'hem b'hazman hazeh.
And then play Dr. Akbar Ahmed's message, and I think I've shared Judea's message. So we will play Dr. Akbar Ahmed's message.
Anila, my dear, thank you for inviting me to this great event to join our Jewish brothers and sisters and to wish them greetings on this occasion. I wish I was able to participate. I will be lighting a candle and wishing them.
I'm just going to have to stop share and then play Dr. Akbar Ahmed's message, and I think I've shared Judea's message. So we will play Dr. Akbar Ahmed's message.
Anila, my dear, thank you for inviting me to this great event to join our Jewish brothers and sisters and to wish them greetings on this occasion. I wish I was able to participate. I will be lighting a candle and wishing them and the communities warm, good wishes for the future, for good relations, for harmony, for peace, and for love between the communities. Keep up your good work, Anila. We are proud of you.
He is my uncle. So, I think I just shared Judea's message. Both of them reflect the same love and friendship that I have seen since I've been here in America for 25 years, and I hope to continue that as a family tradition. The next person I want to introduce is Jason. Jason is amazing. I listen to his music, and I've especially been doing that since Hanukkah began. So off to you, Jason is our friend, our partner, and he brings us together with music. And then after that, my very dear friend and very honored and respected Rabbi Marsha Tilchen is going to take on the stage, and she's going to tell us what happens. And also please give us a religious background as well, which is what a lot of Muslims have asked me. Can you find out why do Jewish people celebrate Hanukkah? So the religious aspect as well. So I'm gonna give it to you, Jason, and Rabbi Marsha Tilchen.
Thank you very much, Anila, and hi everybody, and happy Hanukkah and happy holidays to everybody. This is an outrageous idea that our Muslim friends are here so authentically to celebrate with us. It's such joy. It's really beyond fabulous. And I'm so, so grateful to you all. And, this is really what it's all about. This is how it should be. And of course, we join you at the Jewish Collaborative of Orange County, and our friends join you guys when it's time for you to celebrate. And we've spent so much time with you, and so happy just to feel the feeling. My menorah is from China, actually, and it's at least what it says on the bottom of it. But the batteries don't work, so I can't switch it on tonight. I'm going to leave the religious stuff up to Rabbi Marsha, of course, and just to say, this is truly a beautiful thing that you do, and I'm so honoured to be part of it. And I'll sing when Rabbi Marsha has said the prayers. I'll sing the appropriate song after that. But thank you so much. It's wonderful to meet everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I echo what Jason said, which is that none of us, it's my belief that none of us would be here today had the historical events that led up to Hanukkah not happened. Because what it really marks is the first the first fight for religious freedom in recorded history. So here's the real story that they don't really teach us when we're little in Hebrew school. I sort of mastered this as an adult. But as Daniel said, in the year in about 167 before the Common Era, at a time when the Middle East was fully Hellenized, thanks to the conquering of Alexander the Great several hundred years before, there was really a battle between the Greek affiliates in Syria and those in Egypt. And little Israel sort of stands right between them. And the Jews were living in Israel, and the second temple was fully in operation. And basically what happened was in the fight to control who was going to control the pathway between Egypt and Syria, somehow the Jews and their centrality became a pawn. And one of the things that happened is that Antiochus basically said, what we want to do is we totally want to remove any religious vestige of Judaism from these people. We want to turn that big, beautiful temple right smack in the middle of Jerusalem into a Greek place of worship. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're all going to love each other. You're going to study. It's going to be great. You just won't be religious anymore, but who cares? And in fact, there were a number of Jewish people who really loved that lifestyle and were totally happy to sort of sell our traditions down the river. And so the real battle that was waged between sort of some small guerrilla fighters who were committed to maintaining the Jewish traditions that we'd already had for hundreds and hundreds of years, as opposed to sort of losing them all and sort of folding into Greek culture, as everywhere in the Middle East had done that by that time. It was brother against brother. It wasn't like there was like a huge Greek army coming. It was really more like, how do we make sure that we can stay true to our God and true to ourselves? And there were a number of miracles that happened that allowed this small band of guerrilla fighters from the Hasmonean family. They were a priestly sect, not the high priest, but and they were able to sort of rally the troops, and through their ingenuity and through a lot of miracles, they were able to oust the traitors from the temple and reclaim it and rededicate it as it had been since the 400s, back to a Jewish place of worship. And so and here's why Hanukkah's 8 days. This is probably something that Sandy might not even know, but it's 8 days because Hanukkah, the greatest holiday of the year for the Jewish people is the festival of Sukkot, the festival of the ingathering in the fall. And they weren't able to celebrate Sukkot in the temple that year because they didn't have access to it. So as soon as they cleaned it up, they celebrated the holiday of Sukkot, which was 8 days. And it was basically 8 days of celebration and celebrating the major festival of Sukkot. And the story of the oil is a beautiful sort of metaphor for the power of the spirit, because oil is the source for the lamp. And one of the things that they had to do, it's sort of like when you go into a building, even if it's not done, you want to make sure that the water's running and you can do what you need to do, even if all the furniture isn't in there. The first thing, once they sort of cleaned up the temple and got rid of all of the idols and stuff like that, is they had to light the 7-day candelabra. And that's what they did. Did they have enough oil? Not sure. Is that a fact? Nobody knows. But that's a story that's been sort of augmented by the rabbis. And and through the course of Jewish history, our leaders really focused less on the military aspects, the military miracles of Hanukkah, but you cannot ignore them because they are really the substance of the holiday. And they focused on the adding to each day the spreading of light. And the most incredible thing about light, like the spirit, is that the more you give away, it's like love. The more you give away, the more you have. It never diminishes. And so the idea, first of all, that we could be celebrating Hanukkah with our Muslim brothers and sisters is such a tribute to everything that the holiday stands for, that I can think of no better. This is the best Hanukkah I've ever had. And here's the other thing you have to know. There's one rule about Hanukkah besides how you light your candles. There was a debate between rabbis. Do you start with eight candles and work your way down to 1, or do you go 1 up to 8? And the idea is that the light increases through the day. That the rabbi who said you go up to 8 is the one who won. And you must put your, if you can, Hanukkah in the window, because the idea is that you are advertising to the world the miracle. So I want to show you my 3 Hanukkah. The most important thing for me is to have a big ledge by my front window so you can see. So this is my window, and these are my Hanukkah candles. So there's this menorah. I don't know if you can see that. And then there's this menorah, and then there's this menorah. So we're going to light together, and my candle's in the window, and we're going to advertise the miracle. And as everybody watches this beautiful video in the days to come, they'll know that one of the greatest miracles is the love that we have for each other, and the incredible gift it is to be able to live in America and to be able to learn from each other and to grow together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to light my shamus. The other law about Hanukkah is that these candles cannot be used for any functional purpose. They can only be used to enjoy and revel in the miracle. So we light our shamus candles. I'm going to try to hold my computer and show you how I light. Okay, so can you see this? Let's see. Here we go. So you say the bracha and then you light. So we go like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher tishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Now we light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim ha'hem b'azman hazeh.
Amen.
And And what we said is we praised are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has sanctified us with the commandment to light the Hanukkah candles. Now, the tricky thing about that is that Hanukkah isn't even mentioned in the Torah. It's a rabbinic mandated celebration, and yet we attribute everything to the fact that it all comes from our Creator. And then we said, praised are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who gave miracles to our ancestors back in those days and in our very time. That was the second blessing. And then we sing a song that you may know that Jason's going to lead us in now. And I won't tell you what it is, but it's called Rock of Ages, but this is where Rock of Ages comes from.
That's
and
correct.
This was created in the 13th century.
Yeah. And by the way, a menorah is a candelabra. So, and a Chanukiah is the particular one that we light on Hanukkah. So all Chanukiahs are menorahs, but not all menorahs are Chanukiahs. You can Google that later, and you can worry about that until 3 o'clock in the morning if you want.
Rabbi Marsha, you have a beautiful voice.
מהו צור ישועתי, לך נאה לשבח, תנקום בית תפילתי, ושם תודה נזבח, לתכין מטבח, מצורם נבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח. Rock of ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amid the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Anila, can I show you one other thing?
Please. I'm enjoying this so
So
much.
just like Sandy, this is the difference between me and Sandy. Sandy has 3 generations of menorahs, one from Latvia from about 150 years ago, and one that's probably 70 years old from Israel, and then this one. So I have the little margarine container of dreidels and pennies that my family used to use to play these very serious and somewhat vicious games of dreidel, where we'd all get 30 pennies and we'd spin the dreidel. And this is a game that came out of Germany, out of Ashkenaz, probably in the 12th, 13th, 14th century. It's given Sandy a different history so that we think it's more, but it's really a German game. And there are 4 letters on each side of the dreidel: a nun, a gimel, a hey, and a shin, which in Hebrew stands for nes, which is miracle. Gadol, gimel is great. Haya, happened. Sham, there. A great miracle happened there. And you spin it, and depending on where it lands, you get to either take all the money or half the money, and you spend. So this is my Yerusha, my inheritance this is the margarine container of pennies and dreidels.
I have a question. When my kids were in preschool, they used to sing, they were taught there, the Dreidel Song. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I don't know.
Made it out of clay.
That's, yeah. It's a classic, but probably it's not the most elevated Hanukkah song. But it's
Here's a
fun.
dreidel that my son made in probably 2nd grade.
Oh, that's
I love that.
So it's also a relic and also a precious item.
I have saved everything that my kids made in preschool and early elementary school, and I bring it out every festival because that's what means so much to us. These also are the lights of memory, It's
Do
amazing.
you have family gatherings or dinner parties for Hanukkah, or is it just?
You do, but not in a religious way. Hanukkah is not at all a religious holiday. It's really, it's more of a, it is a, I mean, there is a religious symbolism to it, but it's not a holy day. There's no day of Hanukkah where you can't go to work and you can't do certain things that, whereas if it was Shabbat or a real festival mandated in Torah, you wouldn't be working. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of fun in that way.
But
And
family
people have Hanukkah
gatherings,
parties and
Oh, yes.
Lots of madness parties. And Rabbi, wouldn't you agree that particularly here in the Western world, or not necessarily in Israel, where we, where our Jewish children are amongst, we're living in a Christian society, that it really is it's celebrated here differently, where it's very much a gift giving ceremony. Where perhaps in Israel it isn't so much about the gifts and
here's
that
the
commercial side of Hanukkah.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm inviting all of you on December 25th to join Jason and myself for our Sabbath service, followed by a concert. He and I did this last year, of all the great Christmas classics written by Jews. Every song that has to do with Christmas, that has to do with Jingle Bells or Winter Wonderland or Santa Claus, were all written by Jews.
That's
All the
right.
holy songs like
Very
Silent
true.
Night and whatever, those were written by devout Christians, but we wrote the commercial songs
Like
because and the truth is, this is a holiday that is celebrating the fight against assimilation. And yet, can you believe it? Because we are so assimilated into a largely Christian culture, and that really focuses on certain things at this time of year, the holiday that people celebrate most, which was the holiday against assimilation, is the one where we are actually most assimilated. There's a beautiful irony there, but really, for many people, Hanukkah is the one holiday they know. It's amazing if you think about it. It's a great irony there.
It keeps us together. It's a winter festival in the dark depths of winter.
Yes.
It's a family thing. It celebrates the fact that we've overcome some obstacles in our lives. It brings light into the darkness, which is a beautiful idea.
Absolutely.
And we get to eat donuts. Where what could be wrong with that?
Yeah.
Around, we eat donuts, and as Marsha says, I think it's a really important point. When I'm standing at the candles with my wife, and we've got some donuts there, and there's only Ava and I, my wife and I here, but we stand at the candles, we light the candles, and it's not a pictorial memory. I don't think of my grandma or my great aunt Mabel, but there's a visceral memory. There's something happening about my personal memory of being who I am, where I am, and that's it's a beautiful thing, and that's why it's so fabulous that you guys choose to share that with us, because we, at times, we've got somebody here from the anti-Semitic organization, and you guys have suffered from Islamophobia, and you can understand that all we want is to share our lives, and feel accepted. And by doing this kind of thing, you guys just hit the nail bang on the head. It's so very beautiful. I'm very grateful to you.
I'm telling you, here, Jason.
And so we're honored to do this. We're really thankful to you for taking the time out, because we know how important this time is with your family. So I think it's going to, in the end, it's all about education. We are going to be educating so many people about a wonderful holiday, a festival that our friends celebrate. And now we know a little bit more about it. So thanks for sharing it.
Well, actually, Anila, Anila, you just really reminded me. Hanukkah means, the root of Hanukkah is the word to dedicate or to educate. Chinuch is education. Hanukkah is dedication. It's the same thing. The more you know about something, the more dedicated you are to it, and the more dedicated you are to something, the more you want to know about it. So that is such that I didn't even say that. Shame on me. That's what this means. I thought, do you think it would be okay if Jason closes us out with a beautiful song that he sings called Ner Li Dakik, which is that my candle glows in the darkness. Would you? Is it?
Absolutely.
Anila,
But
excuse me.
just before we
Can
do that,
I
we also have
can I introduce my friends
yes,
and
yes.
then
And
we
that's
can
what I'm done
end
with.
it after that?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so this is Sheila and Marv, husband and wife. They are my neighbors. And I'm very honored to be with them. They are very good. And as a matter of fact, I have learned so much about Jewish community and everything. And it was such a big surprise that so many things Muslims and Jews have exactly the same, like Sabbath, and we call it Sabbath. That is Saturday when nobody can work. Then when she was telling me, like the first candle, I was there with them when they lit the first candle. She had Torah, and she was reading Torah, and it was so surprising that whatever Arabic words we have, like alif ba ha, and all these things, they were all there in Torah. And everything like potato pancakes, which are called latkes, and those things I was surprised. Unfortunately, she did not make it, otherwise I would have tasted.
The first year I didn't make it.
So it is
Because
so,
the kids couldn't come and we
yeah,
just said for the two of
it
us,
is
we didn't
really
make it.
good. It is really good. Plus, they are so helpful. Jewish people are so helpful. Middle of the night, one day I had so much of allergy. At 2 a.m. in the morning, I just knocked the door and I said, "Can you give me the shot of EpiPen?" And she said, "No, honey, we have to run to the hospital." And she had a walker, and with that walker, she took me to the hospital, and she was with me till 5 a.m. in the morning. My husband and her husband didn't know where
They didn't know we were even gone.
So it is such an honor to be with these people, and I'm so glad that this was such a nice event. I mean, I cannot believe it. And thank you, Anila. It is all because of you, and I'm so proud that I'm with AMMWEC now. And Jason, and when you were singing, you reminded me of my second home, London. I could see the Queen's picture. I mean, whatever you have, picture or something. It was so nice to see that. I thought that, oh my God, that's my second home, and it's there. So Sheila would like to say something too, and then we can end it with Jason's song.
Well, I just want to reiterate what Rana has said. It's been an education to be able to live right next door to somebody who is Muslim, because we've learned so much about your religion. And the very first time that Rana and I met, we just immediately connected, and I looked at her and I said, "Can you believe it? Can you believe a Jewish person and a Muslim can hug?" And it was just beautiful. It just opened our eyes, and it's wonderful. I can't say enough. It's wonderful. And this is my husband, Marv.
Say something.
And I can speak without her putting her hand in my back. I'm very, very proud to join what a wonderful group you folks are. I think that the more exposure of situations like this can helpfully make more understanding and increase the peace in the world.
That's what we need.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Anila, for giving us this opportunity.
No,
Thank you.
I'm so touched, and I'm so heartened to hear your story. And it is stories like that will change people's hearts and minds and remind us that we are more alike than different.
That's for sure.
You know, I want to share my story. My mentor, and you saw I'm an educator. And when I started 20 years ago, my mentor was Jewish. And now she's my best friend and she's my confidant. And she said, you know, I don't think we'll have anything in common. And in 5 minutes, we had a dozen things in common. And she said, really? Muslims do this? And but that's what we do. And I said, well, we got it from you.
Yes.
Our story just went on and on. And when my mother had passed away in Pakistan, and I told her, Karen, I have to go to Pakistan because we bury our dead immediately. and they don't, they're not getting it. I need the flight right now. I can't wait. She said, what? Muslims bury? And I said, yes, she said, you follow the Jews. And I said, yes, we follow the Jews.
That's right.
And so we can still do 3, but 3 days, but really we've got so many traditions from the Jewish people that all we have to do is open up our hearts, our minds, our ears, and learn, and bring all those things that we have in common together. So I'm really happy to be your host today, this beautiful event, and I'm going to look forward to now Jason taking over. And then also, I think Rana's friends are going to sing with us.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason, floor's yours.
Right, well, that's another thing we're clearly very alike. We're such cousins, aren't we? We're just totally cousins. We say goodbye and then we never leave. It's very like that. It's, I've known a lot, and I'm always blown away because over the years I've known a lot of Muslims and people from around the world, but I'm always blown away when people go, "Oh my God, you really like us." Well, yeah, we're going to do a lot. We're going to do a load of Christmas songs on, and we call it a Merry Knishmas, the thing that we do with Rabbi Marsh and I. And all those songs are all written by Jews. The only one that isn't is Silent Night. Because can you imagine a silent night in your home, Anila? No. There's never been a silent night in a Jewish or a Muslim home.
Yeah,
so that's
in common too.
We don't know what that is. We have no idea.
Especially
I'm going to sing this song and then I am really going to leave because I'm absolutely starving hungry. But this has been beautiful. Thank you very much.
I love your British accent, Jason.
And I love what's your accent? Where are you from? Where are you originally from?
So I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and my second home is UK, London, and I'm living here in the United States.
Do you know what? London's so full of Pakistani people. You actually have a London accent right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really true.
My doctor says the same thing.
I'm going to sing this song. It's kind of a kid's song, but it's a beautiful tune. And, the translations aren't very... If you translate it straight into English, it just sounds like a simple kid's song. But in the Hebrew, it's very beautiful. I'm sure that you can, people that speak a second language can relate to that, the idea of that. So I'll sing it really quickly. Nerli, nerli, nerli dakik, b'Chanuka neri adlik. בחנוכה נרי יאיר, בחנוכה שירי השיר. נר לי, נר לי, נר לי דקיק, בחנוכה נרי ידליק, בחנוכה נרי יאיר, בחנוכה שירי השיר. A little candle, candle so thin, oh Hanukkah, my candle begins. Oh Hanukkah, my candle will glow bright. Oh Hanukkah, I sing tonight. Ner li, ner li, ner li dakik, בחנוכה נרי ידליק, בחנוכה נרי יאיר, בחנוכה שירי השיר.
Thank you, Jason.
Hanukkah Sameach, Chag Urim Sameach, everybody. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Hi, you guys. Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you all for being here. And happy Hanukkah.